All right, let's just get straight to it. If you're building something in AI right now, listen up. You're not just up against other startups. Nope. You're in a full-on street fight with trillion-dollar giants. Giants that are moving faster than anything we've ever seen in tech history. So yeah, this is the brutal AI race. And this is your survival guide.
Okay, so to really get what's happening, you have to understand the speed. I mean, the sheer mind-bending pace of this competition. This isn't some slow evolution, you know? It's a hyper-accelerated explosion of tech, and it is just wild.
Think about this timeline. It all just kicked off in December 2022 when ChatGPT launched and hit 100 million users in like 2 months. That's insane. By March 2023, you had Google in a full-blown panic, rushing out Bard and watching its stock just plummet by $100 billion. Then, fast forward to November, and bam, Elon Musk drops Grok, which he built in a staggering 4 months. And now, here we are in 2024, the trillion-dollar year, with NVIDIA blasting past the $3 trillion mark. This pace, it's not just fast, it's literally rewriting the rules of the game in real time.
And all of that, it brings us to the core truth of this whole thing. This is not just another tech boom. What we're watching right now is without a doubt the most brutal competition in the history of tech, period. The stakes have just never, ever been higher.
So, who's setting this absolutely terrifying pace? Let's meet the players. And look, these aren't just companies. These are the titans of the industry. And if you're out there building something new, you're standing directly in their path.
First up, you've got Sam Altman's OpenAI, right? The pioneer that basically fired the starting gun on this whole race. Then there's Google, the massive incumbent, scrambling like crazy to defend its turf. You've got Anthropic, the super well-funded challenger, armed with billions and trying to be a little different. And of course, you can't forget Elon Musk's XAI, the ultimate wild card, the disruptor. Meta's playing a totally different game, trying to use its massive scale with an open-source strategy. And kind of behind it all, you have NVIDIA, the quiet enabler, literally powering every single one of them with their chips.
And just to put the sheer scale of this fight into perspective, I mean, the financial firepower is just staggering. We're talking about a company like NVIDIA hitting a $3 trillion valuation. That's what that first massive bar is. It just dwarfs everything else. Meanwhile, a giant like Google can lose $100 billion in stock value in one day and not even flinch. And to even have a seat at the table, a so-called challenger like Anthropic needs to raise $7 billion. That's the price of admission. That's the barrier to entry now. But you know, this kind of speed, it has consequences, big ones. It creates casualties. We're seeing companies that looked like they were the next big thing just, 6 months ago? And now, they're becoming ghosts, completely overshadowed by these titans. And there's one story that just perfectly illustrates this point. Let's talk about Perplexity for a second, a real cautionary tale. I mean, just a little while ago, everyone was asking, hey, have you seen Perplexity? It's amazing. And now the question is more like, wait, what happened to Perplexity?
And this wasn't some tiny little app, okay? Perplexity was a market darling. They raised $500 million. Think about that. The smartest VCs in the world were throwing money at them, betting on them to win big.
And you know what? For a hot minute, it really looked like they were right. The company just exploded, rocketing to a peak valuation of $9 billion. They were on top of the world. Everyone was calling them the future of search. And then, poof, it was over. So what happened? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. The giants, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, they just looked over, saw what was working so well for Perplexity, and then they just built similar features into their own massive platforms. And just like that, they basically swallowed Perplexity's entire user base overnight. They got outmaneuvered and outscaled in the blink of an eye. And look, Perplexity isn't some isolated case. This is a pattern. Other high flyers, companies like Jasper or Character.ai, they've faced a really similar fate. They were once leaders in their little niche, and now they're fighting for their lives, just struggling for relevance against giants who can basically copy their entire business with a single product update. So yeah, that brings us to the million-dollar question, right? How does a startup, how does anyone possibly survive this? Is it just hopeless? Well, no, not if you're smart about it. And this is where we get into the actual tactical playbook for how to survive.
All right, this is it. This is your survival playbook. These are the 6 rules you absolutely have to live by. Rule number 1, find a hyper-specific niche. The giants, they have to appeal to everybody. You don't. So find a very specific problem for a very specific group of people that's just too small for the big guys to care about, and then own it completely. 2. Build a defensible distribution channel. What does that mean? It means don't build your entire business on top of their APIs, because they can just change the rules on you overnight. You need a direct line to your users, an email list, a community, a channel that you control. 3. Obsess over the user experience. This is where you can really truly win. You need to create an experience that's so seamless, so intuitive, so delightful that your users can't even imagine leaving you. Your product should feel like a handcrafted tool, not some massive one-size-fits-all machine. 4. Ship faster than the giants. Your size, that's your advantage here. You don't have layers and layers of bureaucracy. You can iterate, adapt, and respond to what your users are telling you way faster than any giant ever could. Use that speed. 5. Master your unit economics. Okay, that sounds jargony, but it just means you need to know exactly how much it costs you to get a customer and to serve them. And you got to make sure you're earning more than you're spending on each one. You can't afford to burn cash like a trillion-dollar company. You have to build a sustainable business from day one. And number 6, probably the most important rule of all, solve a pain that you understand deeply. Don't build a nice-to-have vitamin, build a can't-live-without painkiller. That deep empathy for your user's problem, that's the one thing the Titans can never, ever truly replicate. Okay, so we've seen the insane speed, the massive scale, and now we have the survival playbook. You're basically at a crossroads. The choice of how you use these strategies, or frankly, if you even decide to step into the ring at all, that's up to you. But one thing's for sure, you can't afford to be naive anymore about what it really takes to win in this environment. And I just want to leave you with this one last thought. This game, it's not just about building a cool product anymore. It's about strategy, it's about speed, and it's about pure survival. You have to study the Titans. You have to understand their moves, learn from their battles. Because in this brutal new landscape, let's be real, if you're not learning from how they fight, you're already dead.
If you know another founder who needs to hear this, share this video, because we rise by supporting others. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now so